Kanan. What Kanan got to do with me?
So I just wanted to pull up real quick and give my quick synopsis or my thoughts on my point of view about the Raising Kanan Power Book 3 Raising Kanan series finale, which we all seen it by now. It's pretty good. It was actually great. But I got a different point of view on the show that I kind of wanted to give my take on. So obviously, the show is great, great series. All the actors, pretty much tore it down. They did a phenomenal job. The authentic. If you're from New York City, like I am, and you're familiar with Southside Jamaica Queens, you realize the authenticity was definitely there. They did a magnificent job. Obviously, having 50 Cent, attached to that particular project closely, since it probably indirectly mirrored a lot of his own life, definitely helped the production. But I just wanted to give a quick breakdown of the characters from my point of view. Let's start with Rock. Obviously, let's start with Rock and Lou. Obviously, those two characters to me were beautiful tragedies. I mean, highly smart, highly capable, highly intelligent, highly strategic, but at any given moment they made very cataclysmic decisions, and it was very costly. And one of the things that I kind of liked about Lou's character was, they kind of started him out on like this very a violent beginning. Then he kind of got very very spiritual and conscious, but we realized that that wasn't really him all along, and he really was that violent, sociopath that we all, saw in the beginning. And unfortunately, we didn't get to really see him lean into that, you know, uh, for lack of better words or phrases, John Wick side of the Lou character. And then, so his character was like, very much a beautiful tragedy, as well as Rock. But I'll get to Rock a little bit later. And then we got Marvin, and Marvin, to me, I would say Marvin and his daughter Juke-Box in the show was probably the breakout characters to me. Obviously, London Brown completely, stole the show. I say, and I don't think I'm alone in saying that he stole the show. He really, really was great at portraying that character, as well as the actress. Her name escapes me right now. I'm sorry about that. As well as the actress who played Jukebox. Breakout characters, breakout stars, breakout actors in those particular roles. Obviously, the Kanan character, I'll be very honest with you, I wasn't really too impressed by the Kanan character. And when I say impressed, his character very much reminded me of Tariq's character in Power. I don't get it. Like, I really don't get it. Like, just, much like Tariq, just out of nowhere, just started hating his father, James. It's like out of nowhere for the most part. Kanan started like hating his mother, Rock. You know what I'm saying? It's like at one point he was just like a kid going to school, hanging out with his friends, and then out of nowhere he just like, oh, I don't like my mother. Now I know an argument can be made that when you have, parents or a mother or father who is, kind of in that life, it could just happen. It can go either way. You flip the coin. There could be a kid who just wants to stay away from it, or they could be a kid who wants to lean into it. He basically leaned into what his mother was. I still don't really understand the hate for her. I'm not gonna get into too much of the psyche part of it. I'd rather stick to what we saw and the facts, and what actually kind of mirror like what could go on in real life. And I don't understand the disdain that he had for her as the show progressed. And obviously, towards the end, we realized that he really loved his mother still. and wanted her to be alive. You know, his whole character to me was just very like very Tariq like. And then we got, you know, some other breakout stars. We had the Snaps and Pops character. They did a great job. We had the Flossie character that was kind of like a great you know, a great addition to this final season. Unique. Let's talk about Unique. Unique was one of those characters that, you know, obviously played by Joey Badass, did a great job. He's a, you know, born and raised New Yorker, so he was gonna pretty much nail the role. Even though he's from Brooklyn, you know the boroughs, you know, kind of mirror each other here and there, so he was able to, you know, kind of nail that role. And as far as his character, he played chess. He was like, okay, you know, my back's against the wall here. I don't have any more plays on the board. Let me just bow out gracefully. And if you're a true OG, you realize that he did, you know, he did the right thing. um Tony Danza's character, the mob boss out of Queens, out of South Side. I mean, he pretty much said, I just want to outlast everybody, and he certainly did. He did a great job. It was really good. It was great to see Tony Danza in more of a sinister villainous role with you know, a bit of honor here and there in their own, you know, mafia way. Just a great series, man, great series. But I kind of, you know, like I said, I just wanted to touch on it real quick. um the most remarkable characters to me, like I said earlier, was the Marvin character and the Juke character. It turns out that Juke was the most gangster, was the most, you know, powerful, was the most savvy character on the show, as well as Marvin. Rock was great. She did good. She did great. Obviously, the actress, you know, completely killed the role. She did a phenomenal job. But the character itself, just a beautiful tragedy, you know, beautiful tragedy. Obviously, you know, she was taken about Juke-Box, and she was another character for me that was just, she just made a lot of mistakes towards the end. Like Breeze told her earlier in the season, like it's kind of easy for me to deal with men in the game because men want, you know, one of two things or both. They either want money and cookie or cookie and money. Y'all know what cookie means. But when it comes to women, in that type of environment, in that type of game, you never quite know what their motivations are. Yeah, you can save money, but Rock had money, so what do you keep going for? She had a chance to wash her money and get out. She didn't necessarily do that. And then towards the end, she alienated all her, she completely burned all her bridges, alienated all her alliances, and she still kept trying to ice skate uphill and just keep, you know, pushing forward. So it's like, at what's your, like, it's like what Breeze told her, what's your motivations here? What are you trying to get out of this? Is it just ego? Is it just pride? Like, what is it here? So that's why in the end, she just turned out to be a beautiful tragedy, truly Shakespearean end for her character. But like I said, now I understand more. Just getting back to the Juke-Box character, who turned out to be her, like I said, her and the Marvin character turned out to be the best for me in the series. Now I understand why her in the present Power series, the present day, as far as Power, her character Juke-Box and Kanan was so contentious. Because when we was watching Power, I would always say, why are they so contentious with one another? There's like this conflict that they have with one another that I couldn't quite understand. They didn't quite put their finger on it. But watching Raising Kanan, we understand why. Because obviously Kanan took out her father, and she returned the favor by taking out his mother. And and you know, that's how the show pretty much ended. But like I said, she turned out to be the most gangster character in the show for me. Marvin is the most breakout character in the entire series for me. Great end, great show. This is just my quick take. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. And thanks for pulling up.
Bullshit.
You're gonna know it's real soon enough.
Why wouldn't you just come after me?
That was the plan. And then I saw you and her together. And I realized dropping you wasn't gonna hurt enough. You wouldn't feel the pain for as long as I want you to feel it. I want you to have nothing, nigga. Just like me. I want you to go through your life alone, with nobody to give a fuck whether you live or die. You're gonna be alive. But everyone around you who cared, gone. And that shit way worse than being dead.
You just as alone as me, Juke. World just as cold for you.
Knowing I did this to you, gonna keep me warm for a long while. And that's enough for me.
I could just kill you myself.
Have at it, nigga. I don't give a fuck. She never loved you anyway. Right at the end, she begged me to do you instead of her.